I turn off that other speaker. I may be taking over her Wednesday slot. Okay, my brother, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Brother Francis?
Yes.
Hey, we're live. How you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. Last couple of days being up so early.
Why were you up early?
Well, Spirit woke me up and said, why don't you do your exercise routine early? So I did one at 4:18 in the morning for 30 minutes. That felt great. And then I was talking to Aria, but we were texting and then this morning, last night I went to sleep after watching some college football. Yay. And
I feel so bad about not connecting with Aria. Life has been just hectic. How's she doing?
well, she's doing fine. She had a little mosquito attack.
Oh God.
Yeah, so she was under the weather with that, but she's much better. I heard she sent me a text this morning. She doesn't feel so tired. She feels energized and all. So
I'll have to get her to come do an interview too.
yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Football. There's football hasn't started yet, has it?
College football. It was awesome. It was Notre Dame versus USC. What an awesome game.
How can such a spiritual guy love the fact that guys are banging heads?
Because I used to be a headbanger in one of those lifetimes.
But you've moved past that. It's so violent.
It's not violent. You learn to numb yourself out, and then you go, wow, he really hit that kid a little too hard. But it was great.
I have to, in all fairness, I sit there and I was really into football for years and years. And probably about 15 years ago, it was like, no, I'm just not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What really got me was MMA. They asked me to sponsor some of their fighters. Mm. And so I went to one of their fights and I was like, I can't do this. I'm such a pacifist.
Yeah. Well, I've watched all of those, boxing, the whole 9 yards, It's funny. The only one I don't watch is hockey.
Well, they lose teeth in all of them.
Well, they lose teeth in all of them, but hockey on purpose, they have an enforcer on the ice on each side on purpose.
Yeah, but the point is there's brain injuries, and it's.
I know.
I can't wait till we evolve past that machismo that has to happen for people to feel great.
You know what will happen? Table tennis will turn into that.
Hey, I love me a mean game of ping pong.
Oh, I love watching ping pong. I like how they can curve that ball and all that jazz. But yeah, that's it's an outlet. Everybody has an aggression point. So at least if someone ticked me off and I couldn't control it, at least I could turn to a sport and live through them, And
that's what you have animals for. You growl, they growl, everybody's growling, and you get it out of your system. Of course,
they're just
corny.
Like Michelle's, they'll just get my face and look at me like Sakara does, eyeball to eyeball. And then she'll look me up and down, and then she'll go sit down, and then Gaston climbs up, and then she gets jealous and she runs over and fights him off. I'm like, give your little brother a chance.
I gotta tell you, Max has been kind of needy here lately. He's playing with somebody in the house.
Mm.
He's been visiting. He's been playing with them. I'm not sure if it's Lance or Goofy. Maybe it's
Rosie.
well, no, I kind of feel like it's one of my spirit teachers that comes in and plays with him. White Elk, I think he comes in and plays with him. So
And White Elk says he stole my feather.
no, like, I think he likes teasing him because you can see it's been happening just recently where he spins in a circle and he's laying belly crawling. That's funny. So I don't know if anybody is leaving us messages or not. So I might as well tell everybody right now. Because of the way everything is working, you can't see any comments that y'all might be making. Yeah. So do me a favor and just know that Brother Francis will answer all your questions when he gets off. Look at that, Grant. I love hanging out with you.
Well, what I'm going to do is we have one. Hello, YouTube, Rosemary. I can see it through the phone.
Oh, there you go. You watch the phone.
Yeah, I'll check the phone every now and then. Thank you, Rosie.
Now, we did better than the Max. I'm gonna put you down. You are so needy. Do you understand? I'm gonna put you down.
You got that look like.
Like, damn it. What have you been up to?
Well, I have been writing. I'll tell you something that's very funny that I have one of my new students, because the end of August, I got interviewed by my longtime astro-numerologist, buddy Lloyd Strayhorn. I was on his very first guest, and I picked up 2 new clients, which are 2 students of his. And he's good for that. He's always telling everybody, it's not just him, there's other people.
I heard, let me interrupt real quick. Yeah. I heard Rosie, she told me, I haven't had a chance to watch the interview yet, but it was amazing. Where did people find it? Yeah,
well, it was, I thought we were going to be on for 90 minutes, but we were on for 1 hour. And I read 11 out of 30 people using numerology. And so it was great. And I got a chance to talk about my books. And I thought I mentioned RE, but then when it was over, I said, I didn't mention RE. But the emails that I got afterward were like, where do you work at? And then I was like, resident essential. But none of those people are in this. Yeah, none of those people are in this state, but it's getting them excited, So I told them they can go to the page and check and see, and it's great. And one of the young men that connected with me, he and I have a deep heart-to-heart selenite, Mother Grace connection. And yeah, so he bought all of my books. He just showed me the last 3 that he got, and he's mesmerized by the books.
Can you read them all off without skipping a beat?
Oh, the books? Yeah. The very first book that I wrote was Dancing in the Light of Divine Grace. I actually wrote the book in 2003 and published it in 2004, but I didn't know how to do the inquiry in order to get the publishers to go, yeah, send me your book or send me a chapter. I didn't know anything about that. So I thought they were poo-pooing me because they were saying, oh, we got all these people ahead of you. So I thought about it. And this is when I was finally moved into Newark in 2005. And I said, you know what? I remember that guy, Alan Cohen, that wrote the book, What Is This? And it was a little yellow book with red and green writing like a glossary. That's all that it was. And I remember him saying he gave away his manuscripts. And I said, I'm going to sell my manuscripts at $33 a pop. So I actually sold 100 of them in the year of 2005. and I gave some
Thank God you
away.
didn't have that copier thing. Remember where you put the fluid in?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, somebody had it, but it wasn't
Crack
working.
machine.
Yes. So I just kept making copies, and every page is on one page. So I sold, 100 of them, and I gave some away. And then, of course, when I got over here and met Mike and Marie, who came out to Java Joe's or Mocha Mug one night, and I saw the rainbow energy on them, and we hung out for a while. And something says, give them one of the last ones that you have. So I gave it to them, and they called me up and said, this thing reads like a movie, and I want to help you turn it into a book. And I was like, oh, that's great. And that's how we got the book and the book party and stuff. And then the next book was
You're supposed to be reading these off right away, real fast.
yeah, The Wisdom of Akhenaten as I Am, which was channeled. And then after that was The Gift, which is the wisdom of Nefertiti as I Am. After that is The Age of Remembrance, subtitled The Divine I Am, Presence
You
in
had to think,
Celadite.
see?
Because I got all these subtitles in these things now. And the last one is Decree and It Shall Be, or Speak as I Am. And that's the joke I was going to tell you. I'm supposed to do the online intensive course called 5-Point Creative Pathwork System. And I'm saying, why is the universe not letting me let the people get to me? Well, then I forgot. I put it on hold and I completed the book, got the book out there. And then when the time ran out that no one signed up, I went online to look, and I didn't even complete the teaching part that I was supposed to set up for myself. I said, so that's why, that's why it came out that way. So ever since then, I put together a free, once a month, a free online enrichment training class. And it's only done on the second Tuesday, which is once a month. And the last one the one I started was in August, and it was called The Power of Meditation. I had a nice turnout. Put it out there, and a lot of people. So the next one is September the 14th, and that's Creative Pathwork Meditation. And I've chosen 3 that I'm going to talk about.
That's the night that I start classes. I have classes starting on that, but I have one from 11 to 1 and one 4:30 to 6 on Tuesdays. But
you'll be able to get it
between you and me. Nobody wants to hear about me.
Yeah. And plus, many of those free classes are being turned into ebooks. So once they're taught, then they go into an ebook format.
When are you going to start putting your stuff on Teachable?
Well, I'm working on that. I'm working on a meditation series, but I want to make sure I have what I want on there from introductory up to, it could be done in 4 classes. It could be done in 6 classes. I don't know yet. So I'm kind of rehearsing it. And I'm getting a new computer table, everybody. This week by Friday, and I might have the ring light by next week. So that's the other thing. I'll have.
See, I think you show up real clear as a bell.
Yeah, well,
splotchy.
At night, though, when the wintertime comes and we don't have any light outside after 5, it's very dark in here, even with the lights that I have on.
I get it. But we all know I'm not up past 7:30, 8 o'clock because I'm awake at between 2 and 4 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Friday.
Mm-hmm. So
you're supposed to be starting up your classes again at RE on Saturdays.
Right. That's at 11:30. That's an ongoing meditation. I want you to
tell people about these classes and the benefits, because what I've noticed is that people don't understand. They don't see the benefit. They think that what you're doing is different than a guided meditation. A guided meditation is sit down, let's take a few breaths, breathe in, relax, feel yourself grounding, breathe out, release, let go, breathe in, bring it all in, feel the power, And as you do so, take a walk through a forest. And I'm taking somebody where they want to go, where I want them to go.
Mhm.
That's not what you're doing in your classes. You have a way of doing it where they have their own experience. And I think that they don't understand this is different guided meditation. So please feel free to explain it.
Okay, well, I have to take them back in time. See, back in the 90s, guided meditation was a big thing. You know, you had Shakti Gawain's book, you know, that was out there, Sonaria Roman's books that were out there. So people were into receiving. And because I taught a lot in Jersey and Long Island, I was like, these things were coming up internally, and I was spitting out 2 and 3, 4 meditations live a week that were guided. I was fortunate to have a few people that were in my class that were chiropractors, that were psychotherapists, who weren't having any breakthroughs with their clients on certain issues. So they asked, with my permission, would I work on their clients for them? And that's when I realized guided meditation is not going to help that situation. What really helps them is find something going on in their life and walk them through that. And that's what I started to do. And those times when I did the Evening of Remembrance with Brother Francis at Resident Essentials is based off of that work that I learned how to do, put in motion for myself, where I get out of the way, but I'm also taking the journey, and I am paying attention to everybody energetically sitting there, because sometimes it doesn't come through me. The gate comes through somebody else, between two people, or somebody who was late and they're sitting in the parking lot, but they're so open, I could feel this energy come into the room. So I just pick one symbol, and because everybody has seen a tree, everybody's experienced a tree, but they experienced their own tree,
Right.
not my tree. And that's why I often do tell people too, if there's something that I say and it doesn't trigger, I might say, oh, you know, beautiful rock by a tree, and you got this beautiful monarch sitting in your face. You better go with the monarch, because it came for a reason through you. And then you follow that, and the journey still takes place. I am able to do both guided meditation, my way, their way, and I am adept enough to take someone into the silence thereafter. That's where this is actually leading to. So I have to give them a lot of things to break them open so that they'll go, now what? And that's when silence shows up.
Well, you know, the funny thing, because I sit at least once a week, twice a week. I have the 2 circles that I sit in. It dawned on me that so many people, they want the information because they want to kind of use it as their own work.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand the dangers of that. They don't understand the karmic dissidence that creates within the construct of what they're trying to do, because it'll blow up in their face. If you don't know how to do this with somebody, if you don't really have the training, it's very, things can go awry.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're doing it, people don't realize the benefit is that they're finding those pieces. I think that right now we're really kind of in a world of Rosie and I were
Fusion.
Uranus is triggering this quick change, go move here, shift here. And it's all predicated on a heartbeat. It can shift just like that, just like that. And it's creating anxiety, panic, frustration, anger, all the negatives, so that you learn to adjust to the new frequency. If they took a class such as yours, I think that they would be able to get at those issues that are creating that a little better and a little more gently, so that they're able to get through it better. Do you know?
Well, yes, because what I'm doing is, and I've always done this, all my meditations are heart centered. When I used to be a Tai Chi instructor back in the day on Long Island, I was the only one, because I wasn't a fighter. And a lot of the Chinese masters were telling me, well, you just go in nature. Nature will take care of you. And I discovered that I did all my Tai Chi from my heart all the time. And I transposed that into my meditations. I transposed that into my numerology, and you name it, I just kept going. And I realized, the main benefit is to love yourself. You got to get at so much stuff in front of your heart to be able to love yourself and to realize that you have value. So many people don't know this, that one of the main benefits is to finally clear your emotions out and come to a point where you love yourself unconditionally. Not conditionally, because that means you're looking for something and there's nothing to look for. It's more about receiving. Now, other things that meditation will do, yes, it'll break down the wall of anxiety, frustration, fatigue. Fatigue happens early, because you sat in my classes and we've had many people go,
Right.
and I've caught myself get there, and I'll go, I'm gonna remove myself from the room, and I know you're going like, he's gonna go over there and go to sleep. He's gonna yawn in the other room. But that's what happens. It breaks down all of your defenses, especially your mental defenses. We have so many mental defenses. And one of the ones that we have up there is that we're not good enough. We don't believe we can do this. We've been told we can't do it. Oh, meditation is like a religion, like yoga. No, don't do it. It's got all of these negative connotations. So what happens is, and I used to do it in college too, I think I learned it back then. I was the basketball manager, but when the coach realized, what are you doing with the players? You just give them the time. I says, I'm giving them positive things about themselves. So I had 5'2" basketball players out jumping 6'5" guys because they believed they had value, that they could actually do this. So it's living
I
from the
don't think
heart.
people understand that. That right there is very important for people to understand. Once you get past the part of the roadblocks,
Mm-hmm.
we have created by allowing that I can't, and creating the box around not able to. Once you're free of that I can't, you can, and you do.
Mm-hmm. You do, because you automatically draw in all the possibilities. Just I would tell people, don't be afraid of what's coming in,
Right.
and they often think it's something outside of themselves. No, it's the brand new them trying to evolve in the first place, trying to get to the surface. And once they realize that, they're okay.
The other aspect that's very important, that like when I do your meditation classes, I do them. It's not that I don't know how to meditate. Everybody assumes that it's because they don't know how to meditate, and that's the reason to take a meditation course.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not true. We can benefit greatly by other people's work. We benefit from getting. I don't have to have responsibility. I get to show up.
Mm-hmm.
So when I sit in your classes, I get to show up, and I get to have that moment where I have my experience and I get to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when we're meditating, we're so wrapped up in the experience of nothing coming in. Like I go to the blank space. What I tell people, I go into the nothing, and I love being in the nothing. Mm-hmm. I have to focus in on clearing stuff from me.
Right.
And I can go into into your class, and it's not a guided meditation where I'm expected to have an answer. I can talk with my spirit team. I that's not it. Sometimes I need to talk to my higher self, and that's the point that people don't understand when you're doing your kind of work, your kind of meditation classes. They're actually talking to their higher self, getting the information.
Well, the thing is, they don't know who the higher self is.
Well, there's that too, but that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. That's what you're
yeah,
giving them. I take it because I just enjoy listening to somebody else teach me. I think it's kind of funny. Somebody told me I was expecting you to be the worst in class because you teach and you know. So I thought you were going to fill in with what you do. And I'm like, no, sometimes it's just nice to listen to what somebody else does so they get the joy of their experience. So I highly recommend for anybody listening or on now or rewind or whatever, rewatch or
yeah. Well, you touched upon something important because I have my New Jersey students, longtime Jersey students, and I have what is called First Sunday afternoons, and I have First Tuesday nights. So I have a bunch that meet with me on Zoom. I just did one, and which was Sunday, and I have tomorrow night coming up, which will have a bigger crowd. So they kind of know they can ride the guided journey because they're doing it for themselves. I just said, this is the basic script, but I want you to change parts you need to change for yourself, even if it means just one item, or you don't listen to any part of it. Plus, breathing plays an important part. If I'm constantly spewing out the description, there's no room in there for them to breathe. Breathe meaning full body breath, because that's also highly important. They must feel the entire body get into this. Then on the other side of the coin, I always say too, you're not here in my class to be perfect at meditating. You're here to be present.
Mhm.
So when you can learn to be present, that means you can question, because that's important. You're gonna, like, why am I sitting here? But during the meditation, try not to question, just try to receive and go into what it feels. That's why,
And not go to sleep.
don't go to sleep. But that's why I told people when I started last year, I said, think of me as the mother hen. I'm in here, but I'm in the parking lot, making sure nobody's stuff is coming through those windows and into the doors, because you get that too. I could feel it, you could feel it, but they may not know what they're feeling, and that's good because then their mind won't go there. Their mind will stay focused. So my thing is to get people to stay focused on their breathing. That's one of the basic things. To follow the breath in, feel what it's like, and feel what it's like when it leaves you. But don't pause, don't hold the breath. That's okay when you're trying what they call pranayama. You're trying to build up the magnetism. You don't have to. In this form, it's heart centered, and you will begin to listen to your heart, and your heart will say, now we breathe.
Now, I'm going to throw a curveball at you because, I get to do interviews and it's not me on the hook.
Okay. I'll just blow bubbles.
Maybe I'll let you do an interview on me and you can put me on the hook. But here's your hook. Here's your putting you on the thing here. I know as a metaphysician that it's really, it's all about our work. We love our work. And it fulfills us in ways that doing other work didn't always do. I know that you write. I know that you're an artist. I know that you do wonderful, kind things for many people. I know that you're a beautiful, do your beautiful I am portraits. I know that your readings are wonderful, and Mother Grace comes in and Grandma, because I've had them come in. And
they saw that. They're the other side said, wait till we cut that tongue off.
They're laughing too.
Yeah.
So I know that you do all this stuff, but the mortal man is still living on earth. So how come you're not dating?
Well, I'm not dating because I choose not to.
I know. When are you going to choose to?
Well, the thing is, the person, whoever that will be, they must be open to the fact and understand that 90% of my clients are women. And that's important to understand. I've experienced, I can tell you some horrifying stories from Long Island and New Jersey when I've dated people. They show up like, I was on that call, that teleseminar. That woman was flirting with you. What's her name? I
Well,
don't know
that's
her
certainly
name.
inappropriate. So yes,
Yeah,
we
but I
want a
had to.
woman. We're going to design a woman for you. We want a woman who is grounded, doing her own work. She has to be in the work as well because she would understand, right?
Yeah.
She has to have a sense of humor.
This is like the TV show The Dating Game, everybody. She
I
just
know, right?
she just put it out there. Now thousands of people are going to watch this.
Well, the thing is that we don't do this work for fame and fortune. Obviously, the notoriety may come, but not the fame, and certainly not the fortunes.
Yeah.
Maybe later they will, but right now, COVID kind of paid to that. But it's changing and it's shifting, and our world is shifting. And I think that you're a really kind of cool guy, and I think there's a lot of women out there who would be interested, but they don't think that you might be open to that.
They're right. and I've been here. I've been in
part of the plan here.
I've been in Albuquerque 11 years. So the first 4 or 5 years was really open to a lot of dating. But there was a lot of control issues. And there was also a lot of, I remember one lady, Vernell was talking to her through Skype, and the lady and I were dating. And she said, this man came out of the back room with a robe on and said, "Hello, how are you?" And he kept going, and then he went back. And Vernell said, "I looked at your person, and I said, 'Who's that?' She said, 'Oh, that's my husband.' She said, 'Oh, you didn't tell my brother that you're married?' She said, I didn't think it would matter because he and I are not really together, but you're in the house."
Oh.
So things like that have happened to your brother. I always say that with all the gifts that I have, the most important thing is I work on myself. So while I'm working on myself is when the person is going to be there, going to matter.
So they need to be working on themselves.
Themselves.
Well. I mean,
I can't have a person in my life who may say in the beginning, and we know a lot of people can hide themselves from you. No matter how psychic, intuitive, and spiritual we are, we do get those people that do hide in such a way that you can't really see them until you're
I wouldn't know what you were talking about, do I?
Yeah, 40 some odd days or a year into the situation, and you go, "Oh my God, now what do I do?" And then you can't, as they say, the person keeps telling you, you can't get rid of me. And I'm going like, oh, this is a serial stalker. You put the shield up and they're right there on the other side helping you build the shield. So the way I see it, I do have everybody should know, I'm not the senior in the body. I mean, I'm on paper, yeah, I'm 69, but I don't act like it.
Well, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, my nieces and nephews will tell you, if you come to my apartment and you open the bedroom door, you're gonna see Kung Fu Panda sitting on the shelf with Tigress. And people go like, "You have stuffed animals?" I said, "Well, everybody needs to chill out." And so when I see that, that's chill out mode. And I put shades on them for a reason. Chill out mode. It's a reminder to chill out and not take myself seriously,
It's really hard sometimes. I want to agree with you there. It's really hard doing this work because sometimes you can go down the rabbit hole with this work, writing the books, teaching the classes, doing all these things that you get sucked down and you forget who you are. my daughter this weekend came into town and we went to Fenton Lake, and the GPS said, want to do the recommended route? Absolutely. And we went the recommended route. We were on gravel road. My son-in-law had to borrow a truck from his father-in-law because his had to go to the shop. That he lost a caliper on the way in. It was really dangerous. But anyway, and my daughter and I were sitting in the car. We knew Justin was yelling. He was calling me everything but nice because he was in this truck and really bouncing around. And we were dying laughing. And I hadn't laughed that hard in so long. We have to have our laughter. We have to have our chill out. We need those people to remind us that life is fun.
Yeah. And, you know, the other part of this too, and you mentioned, you know, going deep in the rabbit hole, the work takes us on a journey. So it is, and I'll say this, it's not a fear. It's very difficult for me to come out of that box, because when I'm working on someone's numerology chart, I'm in it. I'm committed until the work is done. Because once you get in that groove and you step out of the groove, you can wind up taking hours or days or weeks getting back into the groove and to find where you were at in that path. And that's why I always tell somebody, say, oh, how long does it take to do a numerology chart? Can I get it in 2 weeks? No, it's going to take 4 to 6, sometimes 8 weeks before it's done. It's the same thing with working on books. It's the same thing with setting up classes. All these things take a lot of time. And then the other side of the coin, as funny as I seem, and you all might think I'm a naturally gifted comedian. I'm not. I'm a good storyteller, though. I know how to tell a story. But I've learned that from all my mother's aunts and uncles, how to tell a good story. But I am a person that needs a lot of quiet time. And I mean, absolutely quiet. I've gotten to the point where I don't turn on the computer. I don't turn on the TV to watch TV. I don't have no music going on in the background because I need to get absolute silence. Yeah, I'm in an apartment complex. Yeah, you're going to get noise, but I can, you know, push that out and be absolutely quiet. And I've had people in past experiences go, are you mad at me? No, because you didn't say anything to me when I spoke to you this morning. I said I did, and I take them back to the steps and go, oh, what was I doing? I said, you were doing something else, like you were in the kitchen, busy cooking, and I could tell you're handling the hot stuff, but I did not come up behind you, but came around so you could see me, and I said, good morning, you know, and I got to go back and get to my work. And people go, oh. So there's a lot of parts to me.
You know what my fantasy is? I know. I want to have a house that has a little casita that I can convert into my workspace. Where that's where I go for my quiet. That's where I go for my, so it's not in the same house. That's my fantasy. That's what I want. That's what I'm putting out to the universe. I want a place that actually has got a little land to it so that I can make a little garden around the workspace, and I'm not working out of a room in my house, but I actually have a where I camera set up, everything
separate,
to do this kind of stuff so that I don't have to scramble again. But you're right, we all need the quiet. I come in here in the mornings, and either I do my work with my lunation rite, and which is a portion of magic. I'm going to be talking about ritual stuff, so they'll understand what magic is on Friday. But it's also about having that power of really connecting deeply, that we have to remember, because there's an element. It's not that we're not extroverts, but we're extrovertedly introverts. We can go out, but there's the time where it's just too much energy and we have to pull back and go in.
Well, in my case, I have Mother Grace, Grandma Charlotte, Akhenaten, Nefertiti, all these people talking, and I can tell them, I need you to be quiet. And what I get is, I see this hand,
Is
etheric
that Mother
hand.
Grace or Grandma?
That's Grandma
Oh,
Charlotte. Mother Grace is grabbing your earlobe and like, what did you say? You know, Grandma Charlotte is, she used to love wrestling, as I understood. So her thing is the chokehold from behind, like, I'm still here. I'm your grandmother. So, you know, but I say that in jest. Part of me is open toward having a relationship, but the other part of me is guarded because of so many things that have happened over the years. So,
well, my question would be, why can't people just show who they are naturally and say, these are my expectations?
mhm,
If somebody needs a lot of attention, just tell me. And then
mhm,
we will part as friends. The other part is just, look, these are the expectations that I have if we're dating, if we get to the point of living together. Um, I have I tell people it's really hard for me to move things around because I have really interesting ADHD. And so I've been in this house for a long time. Everything is automatic. I reach for
yeah,
things, everything is automatic. It's all set to where my mind thinks it is and goes to, and I move. When somebody disrupts that, then the dog food bowl could be clean across the room into the living room, because if you move things, I'm not used to that being where it's at, and it'll
right.
get moved. So it's frustrating. I get it. But it's worth it. I would love to see with somebody who, I think we should all just kind of say he needs that really stable woman who is also actively involved in her spiritual life and her growth and doing her things, so that you can meet up and hang out an hour before bed and an hour before getting out of bed, and maybe at lunch.
It'll be a black screen that says Brother Francis Zoom live on Facebook. I will not be stop. I will not. Hey, I will,
Well, as long as she's not walking around in a robe behind you, you're good.
yeah. But everything, will have its time. I think too, because whew, I've been in where I'm living at, and I'm by myself for a change. So it's 3 years by myself where I've spent 30, 40 years where, growing up because of my father's dysfunctional alcoholism, losing a home, having to live with relatives. And then now your mindset, okay, I said, I'm going to go away to college. I need to go away to college. Then go away to college. You're with everybody. You're not really to yourself when you want to be to yourself. But it was okay because I was running to everybody else that had the same freaking experience, wealthier than I am, and had the same exact experience. Never seeing their dad of the time when they saw me was drunk, So I've gone through so much where I've lived in so many different settings. And when this place came up, I felt like George Jefferson walking down, 4th Street.
Coming on up to the,
Yeah, I
what
finally
is it, to
found
the
my own
penthouse?
to the east side,
East
to the
side,
east
east side.
side, to
See, I
something in my
didn't watch
life.
a lot of TV.
Yeah, so it's taken me that kind of time. It would be great if the person has their own space because I have my own space. I don't want to be in someone else's space because when something doesn't work out, I'm a senior now. I can't be popping up here and there all over the place. And I'm not going to start all over again finding another place. I've acclimated myself here where the neighbor and I are downstairs.
Oh, yeah. For
And
those of you who don't know, Brother Francis had a cranky neighbor, and she swore she'd hit the ceiling with the broom. Swore
yeah,
he was making noise. He didn't even have his TV on. He even recorded it with nothing going on in his house, and she was blaming him and banging on the floor.
yeah, yeah. So it's but you know, I'm happy I have a roof over my head. I can maintain that. I will make more money one day and soon. Just have to figure out the new undinosaur ways of bringing things in.
I got one for you.
Mhm.
Magical work comes to me in a magical way. I give magical service for magical pay.
Yeah, I've done that one. I've done that one. I've done that one. And it's interesting that, you know, we're talking about that because my last book, Decree and It Shall Be, talks about affirmations, affirmative prayers, you know, meditation and decrees. And a lot of people are buying it now, you know. So I'm glad that I did it. And now we'll actually finish the course, write the course. I only had the introduction. And then, of course, I lost the introduction. So that means I'm supposed to rewrite it. And I have a numerology book I'm working on, and I have a white light meditation book, seven keys to connect with your higher self. And it was called White Light Meditation 7.0, but I don't think I'll use the 7.0. I think
I'm
we're
looking at our time here, sweetie. My because we had to unplug, unfortunately, for me to
Yes.
film. I've got a short in my power cord, so I'm gonna lose internet or lose the computer here in a second.
I'm gonna get real close. You can see me.
Those eyes.
And people will say that brother Francis, he's a nut, isn't he?
Kind of is, but it's really cool to go to Menchie's with. We have fun.
Yes.
So my point would be, tell everybody where to find your books. Tell everybody that where to find you on what date at Resonant Essentials for meditation, and how long that series is going to be, and tell them how to contact you if they want a reading, other than you'll be at the Psychic Fair next Sunday.
That's right. Yes.
Oh, and
Okay.
by the way, just to let everybody know, it's kind of a heads up. The city has put the onus on the business owners.
Mm.
So here's the deal, folks, for Psychic Fair. I will get fined if you're not wearing a mask. So do not expect to come into Resonant Essentials without wearing your mask and keeping it on. I'm not paying any fines. If you're not wearing your mask, you will pay the fine.
Mm.
So,
I like that.
Yeah, because I can't afford a heavy hit. And that's how I think Pagan Pride was canceled for the end of the month because of that.
Okay, yeah.
Because in fact, Candace Lord, bless her heart, she's not going to do her psychic fair because the city is saying, has told the hotel that when people rent out the room, you know, the convention rooms, that they have to go in and be able to micromanage mask wearing, or she gets in trouble for it. She gets fined. Yeah. Because the hotel would be fined because they're allowing people running around without it, so they pass it on.
Right.
Same premise with me.
Okay.
Go ahead. And now that I got that out.
Public service announcement.
Public service announcement.
Yes. Well, I'm at Resident Essentials, and you have to understand it's been titled as Ongoing Saturday Morning Meditation. Okay. It's only 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. It only costs you $10, but you get a lot in an hour's time. That's so true. I suggest that you show up 5 minutes before we get started, and you get to ask me questions. I'm one of those people you can ask tons of questions to, because I got answers to most of your questions. And if I don't, I can tell you where to go do the research for your answers. Okay, so I'm doing that every Saturday. Of course, I'll be at the Psychic Fair doing my Angel of Grace readings and my Celestial I Am drawings that are done with a pencil, and you get a reading inside of that drawing. So I'm not just drawing you and writing words on there and doing images, but I'm reading you at the same time. So that's a unique part. And Mother Grace and Grandma Charlotte and the rest of them are, and tell them this and tell them this and tell them that. Now, I am also, as I say, reiterated in the beginning, I have these free once a month enrichment training courses. They last anywhere from 60 minutes to 90 minutes. Okay, they're done over on Zoom. All you got to do is email me at iam.circleofgrace1@gmail.com, or you can call me at 505-220-2583. So you can get even more in-depth information. I do have a intensive training course, which is a 5-point creative pathwork system, where you learn how and why affirmations work, how and why affirmative prayer works, how to make a prayer work. It's just not what you think it is.
Yeah, right.
And of course, how to use the decree, and of course, how to make meditation the foundation, and then pull it all together. So it's like a big pyramid of energy. And in that class, you're getting 5 classes, but each one is taught every other week, but in between, you're getting tweaked by me. Like I'm going to listen to how you put together your affirmation, and we're going to clean it up so it gets stronger, and so forth, all the way down the line. This time around, you're going to have 4 bonus material classes in between each week. So you should take this course. It's a considerable amount of money, but it's well worth your time and effort, because I'm holding your hand the entire way, class 1 through the end. So, and I have tons of other things I have. Two Bears every month. Two Bears is an online e-newsletter where it talks about the infinite power of divine grace. It talks about the grace key for that month, and it talks about a Pacific meditation assignment that you get. That's once a month, but that issue is what? 6 issues. So 6 months, once a month, 6 months is $25, but if you sign up for a whole year, you get it for $45.
There you
And
go.
there's other goodies.
Well, all they have to do is go to your website.
Yes, you go to my website, www.circleofgrace1.us, and you can tap on every link. You can go to books on Amazon. You can read about the books, or just go straight to Amazon and type in their books by Francis E. Revels Bay. Boom, and you'll see them.
There you go, my dear. My heart to yours. I love you dearly. I will see you. Is there any questions? Look on your phone, see if there's any questions.
I don't think we had any. I think the only person there was Rosie. Oop, we might have. Hold on, Rosie. Yeah, be present, not perfect. Love that. Relationships are complicated. She gives a nice rendition. She's the only one that was there.
That was
Besides,
responding. Okay.
yeah.
That's okay. This is the holiday day, so hopefully we will see you on Saturday.
Yes.
And I miss you dearly. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm going to get me some lunch because I was doing trance circle this morning, so I'm hungry. I'm looking at these dogs thinking I could have a hot dog.
Well, I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna relax now. I'm gonna get off and go. That sister of mine put me out there as a bachelor. I won't say it, folks. I'll wait till I get off the air. But
that's okay.
I knew you were
you can put me on the hot seat anytime.
Yeah.
You can reverse we can play role reversal, and you can put me on the hot seat. Okay, you can pay me back with, because you know all my weaknesses, what I don't want you to talk about.
I'm not going to talk about your weaknesses. I'll just talk about you. She's a great person, great partner, and you just need to listen to her.
So there.
That's right. There you go, guys. And don't come running to me like, what is she like? I'm just your brother. And I'm not allowed to say anything else. you must experience.
We know who your loyalty belongs to.
That's right.
All right, dear.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
See you soon. Bye.